Hi, Chloe.
Hi.
Hi. I just spoke with your mom, right, about her filling out this exercise, about this negative cycle
Right.
that everybody falls into. And so now I'm going to talk to you about what you discovered as you were writing this by yourself,
Okay.
tracking what happens.
Great.
Okay. So, as it starts with, when you and your mom have a moment where you start to feel disconnected, kind of like, okay, wait a minute, something's going on here that's feeling not so comfortable, right? What happens for you? What do you do?
Well, I noticed that whenever we get into these conversations about, possibly something that I'm going through
Yes.
in my own life, I notice that when we get into that position, I tend to start to shut down.
You start to shut down.
Like I start to get anxious.
Uh-huh. Right, that's so cool that you notice that. You start to shut down because you realize you're anxious.
Like her, I sometimes feel anxious, or like maybe there's something she knows that I don't know that I'm forgetting, and then I start to question my own place in whatever the conversation is that we're having at that moment.
Okay, that seems really important. Maybe she knows something I don't know.
Right.
Maybe she knows something I don't know. And then I might start to question my own position in the situation I find myself in.
Or my own ability to do whatever it is that we're talking about at that time.
Right, so it can bring up some self-questioning.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, what about my ability here? Yeah,
Exactly.
a little self-doubt.
Yes.
Okay. So when you're in a situation, something's going on in your life, and maybe your mom she said sometimes she'll come towards you with a kind of teaching, explaining, kind of maybe soft directing.
Right, yes.
Yeah?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Okay, right? Yeah, and then you notice you shut down.
Yeah, I immediately noticed that, and I wouldn't say I don't know how to handle it, but I just kind of shut down. Like.
So first of all, I think so many people will relate to what you're saying. But let me ask you, what does the shutdown look like? Like, what do you actually do that you're calling shutting down?
Right. Usually I'll just kind of go into my own place where I stop talking or really paying attention to my mom or what's going on around me, and just kind of become inside of myself, and I stay inside myself rather than trying to communicate or anything. And then I would also say maybe I'm internally trying to figure everything out for myself. And then I think that's kind of what also causes the anxiety, is I start to just be in myself, and 100 different things are coming up while, I'm also hearing my mom and not really quite understanding how to verbally talk about what's bothering me at the time.
This seems, again, so wonderfully kind of detailed around your inner world and then what's happening with mom.
Right.
So let me see if I'm hearing you right. Shutting down. Mom comes, she's kind of subtly suggesting, directing, something's going on in my life. I find myself shutting down. And what that looks like is I'll stop talking.
Absolutely.
And I'll go inside. I go to a place inside myself.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. And there's anxiety.
Yeah.
And because all these things start to happen inside.
Yeah, all at once.
All at once. All this stuff starts to happen inside. A lot of thoughts, maybe.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Kind of questions almost.
Questioning my abilities, or questioning whatever the topic or subject is that we're...
I'll start to go, wow. And all these things start to come up. Thoughts. But outside, I'm not talking.
Right. it's like a wall, talking to a wall, pretty
Yeah.
much.
I wall her off.
Yes.
I go inside. I start to notice there's a lot of questioning going on, kind of anxiety. And meanwhile, she keeps talking to me sometimes, but I'm
Yes.
quiet.
Absolutely, yes. Exactly.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. And so when you start to shut down and there's this anxiety inside, where do you notice that anxiety, like asking in your body? Where do you start to feel it, Chloe? Can you identify?
Yeah, I would say definitely it starts like in my chest, and then it goes, like I have anxious tendencies, so I'll like shake my leg or, scratch at my arm. So I feel like it then just kind of like spreads throughout the body and
That's perfect.
explodes.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Wow. So I get anxious. It kind of starts to feel in my chest, but it grows.
Yes.
It kind of expands all over my body. I might start to shake my foot.
Yeah.
Scratch my arm. I love that you know this. I mean, it's quite neat to hear you just make it explicit. I think a lot of people feel anxious inside, and it kind of relate to your words, and it kind of explodes. What does that mean?
Just I feel like just it within the body, just like like scratching or knee shaking is just like
It gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, yeah.
But you're still keeping it in.
But I'm still keeping it. I'm still shutting
Quiet
down.
on the outside.
Yeah. So it's coming out in ways that aren't verbal, I suppose.
Yes, not verbal. Right. And so when you feel kind of anxious, you're shutting down, it's starting to build inside you, questioning. You're not talking to your mom right now, though. You're not talking to your mom. And what in that moment do you say to yourself about your mom?
That she's making this thing her own thing, and it's becoming a part of her life, and then she projects her anxiety of whatever that is onto me. Or she's like closing in on me and like cornering me into this situation that's becoming much more heightened or more intense than it needs to be.
Okay, good. I look at my mom and I say to myself, she's making this her own thing. She's maybe making it bigger than it has to be.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, and she's going to start to come after me and corner me a bit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so that makes a lot of sense. That in the anxiety, you're saying, "Uh-oh, here she comes." A little.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's going to get big.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a bit about mom.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. And then you also said earlier on, maybe there's also a feeling you have about yourself though too, like, uh-oh, maybe she knows more than me, or maybe I have to question myself now. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How would you put that, Chloe? What do you say about yourself in those moments where you're anxious and she's coming towards you with questioning?
I would say just feeling maybe doubt that, like, as a young adult, that I don't have the abilities to take care of myself, I guess. So just doubting how I hold myself as my own individual person.
Right. Starts to get shaky or anxious.
Yeah.
Right. I'm my own individual person, but do I have it together enough to do this?
Exactly. Do I have it together enough
Sure.
to get through whatever it is that we're dealing with?
Right. And so your connection with your mom right then, where she's coming towards you, you're starting to feel like I'm shutting down now, I'm getting quiet. But inside there's all this questioning. My anxiety is starting and it kind of grows. It's all in me. I say to myself, I'm feeling it in my chest. It's starting to spread. I see my mom coming toward me.
Mhm.
She's going to kind of corner me with this. It's kind of all of a sudden more about mom.
Yeah, exactly.
More about
More
mom.
about mom. Mhm.
Yeah. But I do have this thought that, can I handle this?
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is mine,
more than I can chew.
But is this
yeah.
more than I can chew?
Mhm.
Right. And in that moment, what do you say about your connection with your mom?
Well, I usually realize that, she's doing it because she cares, and that no matter what, I'm always her kid. So even though I'm an adult, it doesn't really matter because I'm always going to be her child, her kid, and it's coming out of a place of her caring, but in the moment, it's hard to see that. But like inside, I know that that's kind of where the connection is between us, like where it lies.
Yeah. She loves me.
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
her kid.
Mhm.
I know that'll always be there.
Yes, absolutely.
But right now, I'm feeling anxious and uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Mhm.
Awesome. Right. So, how does it feel to go through this right now, Chloe, and to be touching into this?
It feels good to, I think, talking about it outwardly instead of just internally kind of allows me to see the process better and also kind of understand how everything kind of goes down when we're in that situation together and kind of understand how I'm feeling more, but also maybe a little bit how she might also be feeling.
It's different saying it out loud.
Absolutely.
And it feels kind of good.
It does. It feels great.
It feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm understanding something.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.